I actually don't have anything I'm very interested in, so I'd be happy to hear what you guys are excited
You
about.
have nothing that you're interested in? Like nothing.
Not at the moment, man.
Not even Zelda. If you were to get
I just the problem is like I just can't. I know I'm not gonna buy it. Like
No,
I
I
don't have
know,
it.
but you'd be interested in it. Kind of.
Oh, I want it, but like I can't validate buying more
No.
things. Like the VR was like the last thing I can
Well,
possibly validate for a while.
yeah.
And I don't even have that right now. Gavin's got it. The adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 1.5-year-old.
My name is Gavin, and I have a 1.5-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 6-year-old and a 3.5-year-old.
So Gavin, why are you not in the VR right now?
Because it's neatly resting in a box.
Through a series of circumstances, my VR headset is going to be making the rounds with new dads over the coming weeks. And at the moment, it's been dropped off at Gavin's and is sitting unused in a box, leaving some dads to wonder why Gavin isn't using it.
Well, I received it about 25 hours ago, at which point my living room had already been sort of claimed for the evening. And in a polite sharing our entertainment area way. And then by the time that had concluded, it was almost midnight. So then it was like, okay, I'm not going to start setting this thing up when I'm ready to go to sleep because I had to work the next day. And baby gets me up whether I want to or not. So yeah, I hit the bricks and then I worked. And then I just put the baby down a little while ago. And I don't know. I can't really set up tonight because once again, I just don't think I'll have the time. But tomorrow night, that's probably not going to happen because it is Valentine's Day. I don't think that's an appropriate time for me to jump down that rabbit hole.
Right.
So then maybe Wednesday, if I can swing it, try to set it up. It's also just like, I want to figure out if I can set it up and leave it set up because the way our house is set, like, the entertainment unit is very open concept, so baby has access to stuff, and I want to make sure that, like, if I set it up, you're not going to get it back with a bunch of arrow roots crammed in every little nook and cranny.
Well, the real trick is that if you search hard enough, you'll probably find arrow roots already in it. So.
Probably.
Well, there you go.
So I think like the problem is like some of it is so I will say like by the time you set up most of it, the only real danger zone, because the camera that's part of it hooks onto the top of the TV, so that's out of the way. Yeah. The real danger zone represents the cable that runs from the tiny box that you set up beside it that runs to the headset, and then of course the headset itself. Mm-hmm. So if you kind of detach and sort that stuff out, everything else is kind of out of the way, and then when you're ready to do it, just take the helmet off the shelf and plug her in. Enjoy the future. And I'll say like this, so the scenario you described, the scenario you described is kind of potential half realized, because to set it up, you definitely need to have access to the TV. But theoretically, for it to do the output, it has to input the box needs to output to the actual helmet itself, but then it also outputs to the TV because it has a kind of shared social experience. It's not required for every game. So a lot of games will just go to the headset. So if you turn on the PlayStation with the headset, like from the headset specifically, you're just looking at your PlayStation screen. You're in your little box, your little world. And then the other person can totally be watching TV, right? So like you can actually be, one person's playing PlayStation looking like a dork with a big blue helmet, and the other person's staring at the TV. And one of like the use cases I'd thought of, what I thought would be kind of neat, is as long as you could turn off the outside lights, because of course there's those big blue beaming lights.
Yeah.
It's technically, maybe you could do something like in bed gaming, where you don't have to have the big TV, you just got this like big mask on.
Trevor, you are a hopeless romantic.
Just tossing and turning like all over the bed.
Your chivalry, your gentleman nature knows no bounds.
Yeah.
Hey, sweetie.
Well,
Watch
you
my
can just
elbows.
set it up in
Don't
the
worry,
closet
darling. I want to play
or
some games, darling, but I respect you so much. I got this. Now that would be only for non. You couldn't do VR games because otherwise you have to have the the camera and everything all set up. But
I like how that's the hurdle.
Yeah, I already thought of it.
It's not diving into a virtual world in a bed, but like it's like, oh, this is our marital bed, but see ya, I'm gonna go play with shoes. Like that's not the hurdle. It's that you need the PlayStation camera.
I'll say, like, man, I had this awful moment of guilt the other night because in the current place we don't really have just because of the current setup in our house, like we don't have a living room with a TV anymore. So the only TV is really in the bedroom. So that's where the gaming system is. And I finished up work really late, and I wanted to just get a couple games in to relax before bed. And my wife has emphatically said many times, look, I don't mind. It doesn't bother me. Like, I'll just sleep through it. Just go ahead and play the game, and I'll just be sleeping. And it's just, I feel so rude and so inconsiderate. We sit there just like, like I'm just.
You have headphones, right? Like
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank God. That's a fantastic part of the PlayStation as far as like just plugging into the headset and getting it through.
Yeah.
But even still, like the light and just I'm imagining like the furious like clicks on the mouse pad as it's going. I'm like, man, I appreciate it, darling, but this does not feel cool. Like, this doesn't feel fair.
I could see that feeling like so I even have trouble just like reading with a lamp on and feel like I'm being intrusive to their slumber. But like to be like click 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 click, and if you're playing anything too that has even the slightest hint of frustration, those occasional moments of like God, it's like
Street Fighter.
The jumping up and down on the bed. Like, I don't know. Just like it feels like so many moments with VR though. Like, it's just I keep wanting them to realize potential. Like, be it with sporting events where either for a live sporting event they kind of put you in a seat where you're able to kind of pivot and watch things, which would be exciting, and maybe you can jump around the different camera angles. Maybe there's something with information on either side, like this other content that could be coming that they could use the medium. Like, I'm just curious where they take VR in that sense.
Yeah, I think the one thing that deters me from that sort of aspect is kind of the same thing that kind of deters me from VR in general is the isolating factor. Like, you got your head in a box, so it's not a very, very social experience. Like, you literally have your head in a box. So, like, I think it would be fantastic for things like specialty sport channels where you get to sort of like reanalyze stuff, and like for those like stat tracking like enthusiasts who are like watching classic games and then analyzing like, okay, well, what strategy worked? Why did that play work as opposed to this? If they had like, a heads up display that's just covered in John Madden scribbles and stuff like that, I think that could be really that could be a very enthusiastic following. But I think for like live events, you do lose that sort of aspect of like, it's like seeing a movie by yourself on Netflix, like just watching on your computer, or seeing that same movie in a theater with an audience around you reacting simultaneously. A lot of times I found that movies are more effective in that setting as opposed to solo. Like, a really good example of that was like the Blair Witch Project. If you watch that one by yourself, it's not that awesome of a movie. Like, it's good, but it's not that groundbreaking. But when I saw it in the theater, I remembered the kind of the herd mentality, shared emotional experience, and that sort of boosting everything to 11. And the same with sporting events. Like, when you are in a crowd, like, I'm not really much for live sports, but when I go and see them, all of a sudden I'm really into baseball because I'm there. It's infectious. So I think with VR you could lose that aspect, but you gain it in other aspects too. So it's like, where would it fit in? Like live or before?
Like, picture this one. Like, I'm not particularly into racing, but you can almost imagine in a NASCAR or a F1 race.
Oh, that'd be insane.
And they have the 360 camera, and it's a consumer purchasable product. They have the Samsung 360, which is just a camera that you can record a 360 image. You slap one of those things on top of the car, or inside the cockpit. And all of a sudden, like, you're just in the car as it's racing, and then you can like hop around the different cars. Like, it's just the thought of the experiences that you could garner. And I'll say, like, and for the PlayStation, and I think if you ever do manage to set it up, some of the experiences you'll have, like what they've cleverly done with the social sharing, where games like Keep Talking Nobody Explodes, some of the default ones that they have explain where they have a Western shoot 'em up where the person can see, the person with the VR set is in the saloon and everybody else just watching the TV has to describe the person he's supposed to shoot and capture. Like, there's that, like, there's this really fun interactive element between those in the person in the world and the person outside of the world, where I think like they've kind of got that right mix. And even with a sporting event, if they did it right, you'd have the 360 thing going to the headset, and maybe just the normal events showing on the TV. So you can kind of like swap around and give everybody else kind of the experience of it. Because you're right. It's
well,
the right
even
hurdle.
you like mentioning the racing, like that piqued my interest because it's a way of observing that sport that is like, to use VR to basically just put you in the bleachers. It's like, yeah, I'm in the bleachers. I could do this if I worked out the money to buy a ticket to go see the thing. But there's no amount of money you can pay to get strapped to the hood of like a Formula One car. They're just not going to let that happen. But to get the experience of being on the hood of a Formula One car and just being like a fly on the front and looking around while they're racing.
Or even like, but then for baseball, okay, forget the stands. But what if the NHL, for instance, just introduced the
Backcam. Done. Backcam.
Well, close. I mean, for instance, the NHL now has referee cams, right? Yeah, so all the replays now have the cameras that are placed on top of the referees' heads.
Oh, like they got like GoPro strapped to their helmet.
I did not know that. Oh, that's funny.
So same thing with but you could be inside of the net and looking around. You could, for the baseball, for the umpire, like you're right behind the plate on top of the umpire's head watching the pitch come in for that particular one, and then you can switch like whatever, then maybe go to first base or like out to center field. Like, I think if they're creative with it, ultimately, I think you're right. If it's just you're now in the stands, like.
Yeah, or even think past sports, right? Like, I'm thinking National Geographic, where they go to new places that you would never be able to go.
And actually with that too, it removes the idea of like losing the social experience and that shared emotional experience, because with nature documentaries, it's not really a thing you do in large groups of people eating guacamole. Like, it's you. I don't know what your Sunday's like, but
yeah, I was about to say, like, what do you mean?
we sit around watching tigers get it on, and rhinos attack things, and
regular
sit there chips and dip. No, but to have that, I think the VR thing, to be able to transport yourself in a place that there is no plausible, safe way to do it. I think that is one of the things that it's really going to help with. There are certain issues with like inner ear stuff where, let's say you are on the hood of a NASCAR and all of a sudden one of those stock cars just eats it. Like, how disorienting would it be if like right now your head, because you're in control of the view, but then that control gets snatched away from you. Like, what if the umpire gets attacked by a bee and then all of a sudden he starts crashing his head around? It's like there's gonna be a lot of you might have to have like a thickness bag, like peripheral, that hooks on to the VR set for like newcomers, and it's just like a little barf bag and just hooks around your ears, just in case you just totally lose it, because that's an expensive piece of equipment. You want to keep any mess contained.
Should be waterproof, really. Come on.
So I'd say if you do manage to get it installed, there's a couple 360 video apps. In fact, YouTube recently updated so that now you can watch 360 videos from the YouTube app. But there's also just 2 or 3 other video-specific ones. And there's a bunch of free videos, and a lot of it includes flying through the sky, swimming through the ocean, and all just completely like 360 stuff. So you kind of get a bit of a sense of how that goes. It's a pretty sweet experiences.
Nice.
So we'll see next week. Curious.
I think I might try to get it set up on the Wednesday, just for the sake of, it's something I want to try, and if it's in my house right now, I might as well try it because I'm not gonna shell it $500 to try it. But you know, if it's here, I might as well accept the generosity and be like, yeah, why not? So I'm going to. I'm pretty sure. Like I've already sort of been like, okay, Wednesday I'm calling dibs on the living room. So hopefully I'll be able to get a good. Hopefully the setup will go nice and smooth, and I'll be able to get some quality time with the thing. And then if I can get it set up where I can keep it baby-proof, I hopefully get a couple nights of some time in with it, and then yeah.
Nice.
And then it's off to you.
I'm
Mr.
ready.
Jeff.
I'm ready to just go away in the middle of the night and just wake up in the morning and be like, what? It's daylight. This is weird.
Just around your eyes are tanned.
I didn't. There should be a clock in this thing or something.
Yeah.
Because I'm all about myself. Where my TV's set up, it's just it's in the basement, away from everybody.
Or sense of time per day.
Yeah, which the dog could freak me out though if the dog just suddenly jumps on me.
So I wonder if I was trying to think about it because obviously Resident Evil 7 represents the most incredible experience that exists. But I'm trying to think, like, it doesn't make a lot of sense for you to buy it.
No, but I think there's a demo, right? Maybe the demo has a VR in it.
Ooh,
yeah, no, there's a VR demo, but it's very limited compared to the entire game. You should do the demo, certainly, and report back.
Yeah, but is there a VR demo and then the regular game demo? Because the game came out with a demo, right? Like not the kitchen one, but just a regular. I think
there's like a standard Resident Evil demo, and if it has a VR mode attached to it, then that could
find out. You should do it, Gavin.
I was trying to think. I was thinking, like, could you rent it? Like I was trying, and I couldn't think to the life of me how on earth you'd rent it.
I would try to rent it if that's possible. I don't know where.
The only thing that might happen, which I doubt, would be if the library picked it up.
Ooh, maybe I'll have to check.
Resident Evil?
Maybe
that's the thing. It's pretty off.
Crazy stuff, though. They've had other stuff that's questionable.
Yeah, I mean, libraries seem to be one of the last bastions of games that you can just kind of borrow. But that one feels a little.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll see. Because it would be interesting if, even if it was the demo, and say Gavin did it, and see how far he got before turning it off. Because that thing looks crazy. But it'd be neat to experience walking through, even just.
Yeah, it looks like the VR. The demo might include the VR. So yeah, there we go.
That'd be cool.
There we are. Nice. We'll see. See if you guys survive. So the
menu system just delete. Sorry.
So Resident Evil 7 being a game that had been released, if we do shift our attention to new dads, hopeful games coming out, or games new dads are excited about in the next while. Yeah, gentlemen, what games are exciting you at the moment that you're excited to see come out?
I guess I'll jump in. I wanted to, at least experience Horizon Zero Dawn. That's what it is, right? I can't even remember the name. It's such a dumb name. I really wish they renamed it something else. But just from the makers of Killzone, doing a kind of Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, robot, dinosaur beasts kind of game.
Go on.
Looks interesting. The demos that they were playing, where you can kind of take down these beasts in different ways, the way like the robot would work, and they have weak spots and strengths that can go against your little character that's running around with a bow and arrow on its back. It's kind of cool. My only concern, I guess, with that game is that Killzone was very pretty and it had some good mechanics with it, but the story was like, meh. Like, it was very generic, and we'll see when reviews come out for this one, because it looks exciting. It looks like there's potential there, but I've heard pre-reviews where some things aren't the greatest, or kind of glossed over, where they worked really on the graphics and the game like they always do, but the story kind of trails off. So, but that one I'm kind of looking forward to at least experiencing. I don't know if I'll buy it, but discount bin maybe. I'll splurge for it.
Just wait 2 years and
Well,
report
at this
back.
point, like 3 months, like 3 months, things are on sale for like $25 or so. I do like keep an eye on stuff that I've kind of marked down on my list where check back in 3 months and there's always a flash sale or something going on. But that's one to keep an eye on. And I think Persona 5, I've never played any of the Personas, but the next one, if you've ever checked it out, from a design perspective, looks insane. Like it's like a JRPG, Final Fantasy-esque.
It's the
type
most
game.
JRPG.
It
Like,
is. It really is. And just, I don't know, I've seen some clips where they're in the random battle thing, and even winning the battle, it's all like one fluid design where it puts up your wins and trophies and all that as your character is kind of running out of the screen. And
Yeah.
just from a graphic design perspective, I want to experience it. I don't know if I'd like the game because what I read up on it, it's a weird high school dungeon kind of game. So I'm not sure I'm all into that, but I don't know. The aesthetic looks awesome on it.
It's
But
like
that's
someone took a JRPG and like deep fried it in a melted JRPG.
coded another JRPG. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see that. Yeah.
It's the turducken of JRPGs.
Yeah, but those look cool. I don't know.
Man,
We'll see.
yeah, just trying to imagine how on earth you'd follow it like this. Like, is it approachable at all for a dad in North America to
I don't know. I honestly, I would need a demo, and they've stopped doing demos recently. Like only here's and there's. I wish they would do more demos because I don't know. That one looks like it. It's either you love it or you hate it kind of thing, or you get it or you don't get it. Maybe I don't know. But those are the two I kind of look forward to.
I think for myself, yeah, I'm looking forward to Horizon Zero Dawn as well. I got to see some of it in action at PSX, and it looked really pretty. I do agree that sometimes that publisher, the stories can be a little hit and miss. But I think with this one, it feels pretty interesting. Like the story sort of intrigues me. I always like post-apocalyptic stuff that's so far past the apocalypse that everything's sort of overgrown and regrown. What was that one? Andy Serkis did the voice work in. It was Journey to the West.
With the girl, right, and the red hair. Is that the one?
No, that was a different one. This one was like it was like based on the old the Chinese mythology, the whole monkey and
what one was it called here? I'll Google it. You go.
There you go. Anyways, yeah, it reminds me of that just because that game was very lush and overgrown. It was quite beautifully done.
It was a great game.
I'd like to say like Odyssey, something like that.
Enslaved Odyssey to the West.
Odyssey, there it is. Enslaved, that was it. So Prey, I'm also curious about that one, just because it looks pretty weird. It's like Arthur C. Clarke took the bad acid. Sniper Elite 4, I'm excited for that one because I really enjoy the Sniper Elite games. There's something really satisfying with that CSI cam that they do, and I just also really like the bullet physics in it are great. Like you deal with like wind shear and drop and all of that, so it really makes you have to line up your shot. You feel really good if you land a good shot. It's not just about getting the crosshairs where they should be, and also things like masking the sound of your shots with like ambient noise in the environment, so like waiting for lightning strikes and then
a rough cough.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks pretty fun. So I'm excited for that one. And yeah, I guess also I've been seeing some ads for Injustice 2, and I really enjoyed NetherRealm's previous work on the Mortal Kombat game, and I think it's NetherRealm Studios again. So yeah, and then Night in the Woods looks fun too. That's a indie title that's been in development for a little while now, but it looks really fun. The animation in it is really, really pretty. But yeah, those are a few of the ones that I'm kind of keeping my ear to the ground. I also really want to try Resident Evil. but I also am terrified to try Resident Evil.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We share that.
Yeah, that seems scary. I think the so I mean it's funny. I'm just kind of my well's kind of dry at the moment as far as what I'd be excited about. I think a thing I could be excited. There'd be two that I could be excited about, but I just can't seem to get it going. One would be for Breath of the Wild. It just looks so that looks so cool because it's got to be the most open world Zelda game that's ever existed, and every bit of it so far seems to be to the normal Zelda quality. But man, I can't. Another system like a Switch, I just can't do it, man. I just can't get into another one. Like maybe after the first price drop, but even then, it's just like I got a PS4, I have a gaming PC, and I'm gonna have this thing. It's just I don't know. Yeah, wait for 5 months from now. I'm like, hey guys, look what I got.
It's for your son. What are you talking about? It's not for you.
Yeah.
Look how cute this little controller is.
That's
so
the thing too, is you always have to weigh, like, do I have time for this?
Yeah.
So the another was the other one I was interested that they re-released or they're about to release is Final Fantasy. Is it 12?
Mm-hmm.
They have that release coming, the HD release.
Yeah.
Now here's the problem. I actually just had an experience with Final Fantasy. I had to do some travel recently, so I was able to finally beat Final Fantasy 9, but not just on the phone.
Yeah.
So full honesty, I cheated. Like I just
you did it,
man. I don't got time for this. Like, I don't have time to level these guys up. Like I like the systems, really enjoyed the game, and as much as possible, whenever I got to a boss battle, I tried to turn off all the cheats and beat them normally, which I did. Right up until the end, and it's just like I don't, whatever, man. I just want to get through this.
Switch.
And it's the Final Fantasy. Every single time takes the most bizarre, out of left field turn at the end that has just nothing to do with the story. And like every single time, like the entire game, you're fighting against Evil Joe. Well, that's a bad name because that's an actual name, isn't it, or an actual character?
Probably.
Beautiful. I'm saying Beautiful Joe.
Beautiful
the
Joe.
old GameCube thing. Anyways, I'm gonna call him Evil Daryl. So you're fighting Daryl the entire game. Daryl is destroying the world. Daryl destroyed your town. Daryl, is threatening the life force. And then you go to his magical floating kingdom and you beat Daryl. And then you just get thrown into some sort of nether realm space. It's like I am the encapsulation of every bad will that's ever existed. Fight me now. It's like, what? Who are you? What is this about? Like, who is this guy? And it's happened. Like every Final Fantasy game does this. Even the first one. It's just at the end, like you beat the guy, and then just at the end, it's just like, oh yeah, and the supreme evil, the other evil. Like, come on! Like, why do you gotta like throw it in left field like this? Like, who is this guy? No mention whatsoever. There was no mention. This is just completely introduced.
Nothing foreshadowing it. Just duct tape to the end of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he has 3 forms probably. Like he has like one form you kill, and then he morphs to another one.
Oh, so it's just. I forgot how bad it was in 9, but the thing is just so out of just completely out of nowhere. Oh, also fight this guy. Like, why? Who is this? I am time. Okay, I'm battling time. Sure. Cool. Potion. Fire.
Cheat switch. You're dead. I'll teach you.
Yes, I don't know if I could redo another Final Fantasy one. I will say like 12, I think, was one of my most favorite games, like RPG system I ever played, with like the prearranged kind of sets. Yeah, the game itself, like I couldn't. If you asked me for synopsis, I have no idea what happened. I beat it. I don't got a damn clue what happened. I was so lost.
Yeah,
but I just mean the fighting system. Like, I love that fighting system.
Yeah,
it's basically programming. Like it's all these like if statements and like priorities. Like it was so cool. So I don't know. Like I said, so 2 games on the radar, and I don't know if I can get excited for either.
You'll get excited for it. Or just jump into Resident Evil and
man, if anything, I think the VR game I'm kind of stoked about is Fruit Ninja. I've heard such amazing things about it. They say the tracking is so tight. and you're in there, and you got two katanas, and they're just throwing fruit at you. And you're like, yeah, you're just slicing it. It's beautiful. I think if you can find a demo of that one I think you should try.
Yeah.
That one sounds so. People are just raving about that one. That sounds so fun.
It's amazing how Fruit Ninja can make its way back.
It just
Right?
Keeps on going.
Like it's third iteration.
Yeah.
Because like it was like a mobile game first, and then the Kinect had a version, and then now it's back again.
Let's go again,
Fruit Ninja
Every generation. Maybe a Switch. You have to
demo.
figure it has a Switch version, right? Because you get the two little controllers and you're waving them around.
Oh,
and chopping
probably,
fruit.
yeah, sure. Yeah.
Do it. Why not? But I think with that happy chopping fruit note, we'll call it for the week. This has been New Dad Gaming. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you'd like to reach out to us with show ideas or questions, you can reach us at our website, newdadgaming.com. You can also subscribe to us on most podcasting services as well as on YouTube. We do this show weekly and would appreciate a like, a share, and a subscribe, and pass it along to any new dad that happens to like gaming. Until such time, my name is Trevor, and I have a 1.5-year-old. My
name's Gavin. I have a 1.5-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 6-year-old and a 3.5-year-old.
All right, guys. See you next week.
See you.
Bye.
But in what reality?
Oh.
It's like I want to see one of you wearing the helmet. Just like on one of the broadcasts. Like someone's got to wear the helmet.
Have it.
That's just going to be a super cut of us all like wearing the helmet one after the other.
Yeah.